I'm sorry for calling you out of the blue. I need to urgently contact my husband. He took a week off starting 4 days ago, right? What? When my daughter was urgently hospitalized after a traffic accident, my husband Michael was on a business trip. I called his cell phone, but couldn't reach him at all. With no other choice, I called his office, and I had to hear an unexpected fact from his boss. I was speechless for a while. What do you mean? Wasn't he supposed to be on a week-long business trip? Later, I learned about my husband's hidden side from an unexpected source. And I sworn myself to get revenge on him. Thank you again today. Emily, say goodbye to Mr. Smith. Goodbye, Mr. Smith. Standing next to my daughter waving at her kindergarten teacher, I smiled slightly too. It was a typical scene of picking her up from kindergarten. Emily, what did you do with your friends today? We did a paper craft. I made a dog. My daughter Emily, who had just turned 5, was a frail child since birth. I worked as a fitness instructor, but since Michael often came home late at night, I quitted my job to become a stay-at-home mom. Emily is now much healthier and rarely catches colds, but Michael's busy schedule hasn't changed, and he's often away on long business trips. Even so, when he has days off, he helps with housework and plays with Emily. Michael works so hard, I need to make sure to take good care of Emily. I genuinely believed that. Mom, look. The flowers are blooming. Emily let go of my hand and walked ahead to see the red flowers blooming by the sidewalk. Mom, look. See? Watch out. What I saw was a car speeding towards Emily. At the same time, there was the sound of screeching brakes cutting through the air. Emily. For a moment, I couldn't understand what had happened. No, maybe I didn't want to understand. The car that crashed onto the sidewalk was severely damaged at the front, creating a burning smell. I ran frantically to Emily, who was lying beside it. Emily. Emily. Please call an ambulance. Holding her small, limp body, I fumbled to get my phone out, but my hands were shaking too much to make a call. Before I knew it, passersby who noticed the accident came to help. I had no idea how much time had passed, but Emily and I were taken to the hospital by the ambulance. At the hospital, Emily was taken to the treatment room. I was told to wait in the lobby, but I couldn't sit still and paced around outside the entrance while trying to make a phone call. Of course, I was trying to reach my husband, Michael, who left for a business trip 4 days ago. But I couldn't get through. Damn it, why isn't he answering? Frustrated, I shouted in the lobby but quickly shut my mouth, feeling the stares from people around me. I took several deep breaths. Calm down. There have been times before when I couldn't reach him during his trips. I was calling Michael's personal phone. So, I thought it was understandable if he couldn't answer during work, but now I regretted not having asked for his work contact number. However, there was no use in thinking about it now. That's it, I'll call Michael's office. They can contact him from there. If it's his work phone, Michael would probably answer immediately. Thinking that, I quickly called Michael's office and explained the situation. His boss picked up right away. I'm sorry for calling you out of the blue. I need to urgently contact my husband. He took a week off starting 4 days ago, right? What? Vacation? For a week? Hello? Ma'am, are you okay? Oh, yes, thank you. Goodbye. I ended the call in a daze. My husband definitely said, I'm going on a business trip, when he left. But his boss said he's on vacation. So where is Michael now? A lot of thoughts raced through my mind, but I couldn't put them together. It was then. Annie. Are you okay? I turned around to see my friend Jane running towards me. Jane is a friend I met at Emily's kindergarten. We hit it off immediately and have become as close as childhood friends. I heard about the accident at the kindergarten. How's Emily? She's under the treatment now. I tried to contact Michael, but... Oh, right. Is he coming? Well... Mrs. Smith. Oh good, you are here. I turned again to see a nurse rushing over. A chill ran down my spine. Seeing my desperate look, the nurse smiled. Emily's treatment is over. She'll be fine. Really? When I went to her room, Emily was sleeping soundly on the bed. The doctor explained that she was sedated but would wake up soon, and I thanked him repeatedly in gratitude. It had gotten dark outside, and only Emily, Jane, and I were in the hospital room. The room was completely silent. As I calmed down, I thanked Jane again. "Jane, thank you so much for coming. Don't mention it." "So, when is Michael coming?" "Jane, I have a favor to ask." "What is it?" "Why so formal?" "I haven't been able to reach Michael. He said he was on a business trip, but it seems like he lied. I don't know where he is. I need you to find him because I can't leave Emily's side." "Got it. I'll take care of it. Leave it to me." "Thank you, Jane. I'll make sure to properly thank you later." Jane's confident smile reassured me, and I managed to smile a little. I finally got in touch with Michael 3 days after the accident. "Here's a souvenir from my trip." Michael, in his suit, handed me some snacks nonchalantly. During those days, I had been trying to reach him constantly, but his phone never connected. By the time Michael returned, Emily had already been discharged and was home. I watched Michael with a cold feeling as he said things like, "This business trip was really tough," and "I was extremely busy," in a phony manner. "I called and texted you constantly. Why didn't you respond?" "I was incredibly busy. But you could have at least replied. I told you Emily had an accident. I forgot to check my personal phone. I'm really sorry. You must be exhausted from looking after her. I'll take care of Emily so you can rest." Michael said quickly and went to Emily, who was playing in the next room. From his words alone, he might seem like a caring husband and father. I might have believed him without question a little while ago. But now, I know it was all lies. I know everything, Michael. The day before Michael returned, I was talking with Jane, who had come to visit me. I hate to say this, but I'll be honest with you. Michael is cheating on you. I knew it. So, that time, he lied about a business trip and went on a trip with his mistress. Since when? Could all those late nights and business trips have been lies too? It's possible. It seems the affair has been going on for quite some time. I see. Annie, if you want to get to the bottom of this, you'll need to investigate further. But how? Jane advised me to check Michael's phone and contact his office to verify his past leaves. I hesitated to do this, but I needed to know if it was a misunderstanding. I decided to investigate Michael's activities. Everything I found confirmed his affair. He used to say he was working late, but his boss told me that with the new work reforms, there's almost no overtime. And he rarely goes on business trips. And those messages on his phone. It's obvious. The contact name on his phone was labeled as a Mr. Green, but the content of all the messages was unmistakably affair. Messages like, "I can't wait to see you," and "we met at the wrong time," were filled with cliché, foolish words. Suppressing my nausea, I forwarded all the evidence to my phone. When it was all done, what I felt wasn't sadness but anger. So everything Michael has done was a lie. Being a good father and husband was all an act to cover his lies. I won't forgive him. Never. I vowed firmly. A month after the accident, Emily recovered completely without any lasting effects. Around the same time, Michael was going on another business trip. Seeing him leave eagerly, I immediately called Jane. This time, his trip was to a seaside town, an hour away by express train. Although Michael told me he was inspecting a factory out of town, I wasn't fooled. I got in Jane's car to a quaint inn. "Annie, this is the inn." He checked in just after noon. So he's probably having a great time right now. "Are you okay? Should I go in alone?" "Thanks, but I need to do this myself, for Emily's sake too." I wonder what expression I had on my face at that moment. Jane suddenly slapped me on the back. I looked at her, surprised and a little pained. "I'll always be on your side, no matter what, Jane." Only then I realized I was clenching my fists tightly. When I opened my hands, my palms were slightly red where my nails had dug in. I must have been very tense without realizing it. I exhaled and handed my phone to Jane. "Please. Leave it to me. Jane took the phone without hesitation and called Michael, putting it on speaker so I could hear. The person on the other end was Michael. It took several tries, but finally, the ringing stopped and I heard Michael's irritated voice, "Hello?" After the recent event, he must have realized he couldn't keep ignoring the calls. However, judging by his irritated tone, we must have interrupted his fun. "Hello, is this Michael? I'm glad I reached you." "Huh? Who is this?" "Isn't it Annie?" "I'm Annie's friend, Jane. Annie collapsed and was taken to the hospital. I thought I should contact you, so I borrowed her phone." "Collapsed? Annie? Why?" "It seems like exhaustion. After everything with Emily, she must have pushed herself too hard." "Michael, could you come to see her?" "What?" "Well, I'm at work." "If it's exhaustion, her life isn't in danger, right?" "Well, that's true. And you're there with her, right?" "I've heard about you from Annie. You two are close, aren't you?" "She'd be more comfortable with you there than me. Thanks for handling this. I'm really busy." With that, Michael hurriedly ended the call. I stared at the phone for a moment, but when Jane asked, "Are you okay?" I nodded firmly. "Jane, can we proceed with the plan?" "Of course." Jane and I got out of the car and headed to the inn. We went straight to, "What the hell are you doing here, Annie?" Michael, hastily wrapping himself in a robe, and his mistress stared at us in shock. We had barged into their room. "Since you wouldn't come to me, I came to you. You said you collapsed." I was so angry that I felt energized. "So, do you have anything to say about this situation?" Well, this is. Jennifer works for our supplier. Don't drag me into this." "So, you discuss business in the bed?" "Well, it's a special kind of business." Michael's incoherent excuses only made me sigh. More than sadness or anger, I felt a deep sense of emptiness. At this point, it's pathetic. "Just admit you're having an affair." My voice was surprisingly calm and low, and Michael was left gaping. The woman Michael was having an affair with recovered quicker than he did. She was the one Michael called Jennifer. "What are you old women doing in our room? This is an invasion of privacy. Right? Even if you're my family, you can't just barge into my room. What's wrong with this inn?" "Yeah, I'm calling the police. We'll sue the inn too." I could only be exasperated at Michael and Jennifer's triumphant attitude, but I knew that without proper preparation, we would be at a disadvantage. We were well aware of that. That's why we had planned for this carefully. "Do what you want, but it'll be pointless." "Huh? Do you know why we knew you were staying here?" "Because I set it up." "What? You used a coupon to book this place, didn't you?" "I slipped it into your bag." "Wait, didn't you put that there, Jennifer?" "I have no idea." "Did you choose this inn just because of a coupon?" "You are so cheap." Michael is notoriously frugal. I knew he wouldn't pass up a coupon. "And also, this inn is run by a friend of Jane. We've informed the staff about everything, and this room is actually booked under my name." "What?" The room had indeed been booked under my name in advance. I had asked the inn to cooperate and give the key for this room when Michael and Jennifer arrived. In the room I booked, I can do whatever I want. If anything, you two are the intruders. "What? Are you kidding me? And who the hell are you, anyway?" Jennifer looked ready to grab Jane. She had an intimidating expression, but Jane just smiled calmly. Given her profession, she was used to such situations. "I'm a private detective." "A private detective? So, you were the one who did all the investigation for this affair?" "Who knows? What the hell?" "Hey, Annie. What are you trying to achieve by hiring her and going through all this trouble?" "I provide for the family. And I love Emily. Would you go this far for a little affair? Do you really not understand why I did this? Are you enjoying driving me into a corner? I never knew you were this cruel. If you had shown any concern for me during that phone call earlier, I might have considered giving you another chance. At that time, I learned that when truly angry, one's feelings can become rather calm. Michael must have sensed this. He went pale and fell silent, and I looked at him as if he were a stranger. I thought there might be a chance to start over for Emily's sake, but it's impossible now. I want a divorce. Divorce. No, wait. I won't agree to a divorce. Your opinion doesn't matter. By the way, I've gathered enough evidence of your affair to make sure you're at a disadvantage no matter what. No. Jennifer, you're not going to leave me, right? Oh, and for your information, she has other men too. What? Mind your own business, you old hag. Jennifer? No way, you said I was the only one. Ugh. Get over yourself. You're cheating, but I shouldn't be allowed to do the same? Give me a break. Unbelievable. Annie, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Please, don't divorce me. We'll handle everything through my lawyer from now on. We probably won't see each other again. Goodbye. Well, I'm heading out too. Annie. Jennifer. Please, don't leave me alone. Ignoring Michael's pathetic pleas, Jane and I left the inn. Outside, the sky was a brilliant red with the setting sun. All I could think about was returning to Emily as soon as possible. A month later, Michael initially resisted the divorce, but he eventually realized there was no chance to avoid it since it was entirely his fault. He agreed to the divorce. With ample evidence of his unfaithfulness and the fact that he had used our savings and Emily's education fund for his affair, he was in no position to argue. Michael had to repay the money he used and pay me $50,000 in alimony, and Jennifer also had to pay $30,000. I was financially secure for the time being. Michael's affair had been exposed at his workplace after I called his office during Emily's accident. His colleagues turned cold shoulders on him, and he eventually quit. Now broke from paying alimony and without a job, Michael was living day-to-day doing menial labor. As for me, I started working as a private detective at Jane's agency. Jane had said, with your background as a sports instructor, you've got the stamina and guts for this job. Someday, I hope to help other women in distress, just as Jane helped me.